Hi everyone, it's Philippa from Camelia Crafts. Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a couple of things to show you and a little bit of exciting news. First of all, I am going to show you a new version of an accordion journal that I made. As you may recall, I've previously done one. It was in my first video. I'll link to that below. And this one, I was inspired to do this by Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah, and I linked to that in the original video. But she had actually got the idea from Natasha from Treasure Books, who did it a slightly different way. So this way, I actually did it the way Natasha did it, and it has these triangle bits in the middle where you join the pages. And I said at the time I made the last video that I wanted to try it again without the triangle in the middle, the way that Tina did it, because she said she was going to do it a different way, and I had to look her up because I didn't know what the reference was, but she said the way, I think she said the Crafty Cat envelope way. So I did have a look at that, and I also rewatched Tina's video, and I think I got what she was doing. Anyway, I've done it and it's worked. So even if it's not exactly the same, it's a way. Anyway, so that's my original one. You can see that in more detail in my previous video, which I will link. So this was actually made from 12 by 12 scrapbooking papers. And obviously this is pretty big. I mean, it's okay for journaling, but I wondered what it would turn out like if I used smaller sizes. The other thing I found difficult with this one is, with the style, is the way you fold it, the papers you use are going to be on an angle. It's probably a bit more obvious with some of these ones, but like this one here, it's on a diagonal, which actually made it a bit difficult to select papers. When I picked these ones, I had to be really careful. A lot of the double-sided papers I had just didn't work, and these ones that I picked were quite neutral, very little writing, no faces or anything. So I went through the papers that I had in 8x8, and look, not great options really. But then I remember that I had this pack. It's neutral cardstock, just plain. I think there's a couple of 2 or 3 or something of each color. And I thought it would be a bit of a challenge to myself to pick some colors that I quite like, but I don't use very much. I tend to go with the more blue palette, blues, pinks, purples, burgundies, that kind of thing. But I do quite enjoy the more yellow palette, so that's what I've gone with today. So, and the exciting news that I mentioned is, while I have been incapacitated, and I'm not wearing this thing today, but I do have the a brace on again because my broken arm is not healing as well as we had hoped. But when I'm not crafting, I've been messing around in Photoshop because I do that as part of my day job, and I already had a lot of digital assets because I have been doing some digital collage for a while, and I decided to make some of my own collage papers just for myself initially, just to see if I could. And that clawing sound is my cat. I'm using a scratch and post, which is where the cat in Flipcat comes from. I've actually got 3 cats. That's Apollo. He's Prince of Cats. And anyway, so I had made them a while ago, sort of January, February, that kind of thing. I didn't have a colour printer, so I hadn't actually tried anything. But they have come in. I got my printer delivered last week, and I've finally been able to trial some. And so when you see this kind of thing, that is from my new collection. I'm calling it Banksias and Butterflies. Banksias are a native Australian flower, very iconic. The butterflies are not native Australian butterflies as far as I know. They're just butterflies I got in a commercially licensed collection a couple of years ago that I liked. Yeah, so some of my backing paper, some of the tags, the postage stamps, they're all mine. I'm so excited. There's a lot of things in here that aren't, and that's great. I'm happy to mix them all together. But I just wanted to show. This is a sneak preview. I'm going to do a video with my collection as well, just to show. And who knows, maybe one day I'll be up at Etsy, and people interested, they can purchase it for themselves, and that would be amazing because, you know, I'm very excited to show Australian plants and natives and things like that. Anyway, on with this. So that is my stack. Oh, the other thing is, I've created these using a Postage template. I don't have scissors like that, and I don't have one of those fancy cut and scan machines, scanning cut machines. You know, one day maybe, but I just used my decal edge scissors on the same pattern and then, you know, stained it with ink. And it's not exactly the same, but I think it looks fine. And my advice to anyone who likes postage stamp style things, just use what you got. You could use a tear edge ruler. You can just use normal scissors. It doesn't really matter. It's just a look. And this behind it is one of the clusters I made from my more neutral cluster roll that didn't have ephemera on it. And this paper here is another one of mine. It's part of one of my backing sheets, which I love. So that's really exciting too. So, and then I got some sort of, I don't know what colour you call that. I didn't dye it that colour. That's lace that I already got. That was that kind of tan colour. Tan's not quite the right word for it, but I thought it just went really well. And I'm thinking of maybe putting a label there. This isn't 100% finished, but you know, I'm going to splatter it with some gold. I've done some gold on the other cover, but anyway. So that's more of my backing paper. Pocket, another one of my postage stamps. This is from the Your Creative Studio Wildflowers collection, which I did a unboxing on, and so is that. This is a couple of years ago I got a box of beautiful washi tapes, a set, and this is one of the set, and it is just the same words over and over. Life is a journey in this quite in your face green, and it's not bad. I mean, I don't mind it, but there's no way I'm going to use 5 minutes of this. So at some point I might do a swap with someone else, because like I don't want to go to waste, but like I don't know who would use 5 minutes of Life is a Journey, and I don't know what you call that, hunter green or something. But it's good for something like this, because you know you can just use it a little bit and someone else can appreciate it. But I don't know who would use it. I mean, if there'd been more than one saying, like multiple sayings that then repeated, maybe 3 or 4, that would be one thing. But just have that over and over and over in such an intense green. Yeah. Anyway, I just put this little tiny envelope in. Can just keep little ephemera or whatever. I think it could be mulberry paper, it could be rice paper, I'm not sure, but it just goes in there. Over to the next page, and that's another one of the tags from the Wildflowers kit. That's just some paper I had lying around. I think it's Craft. That's washi tape from the Wildflowers kit. That's a cluster I made that I showed in my last video. This is a tag from Craft that I got ages ago. They were pre-printed with like just background patterns, but I've used, you know, a little bit of my backing paper and one of my stamps. That's another Banksia, and then it's just craft on the back, so you could easily use that for journaling. And flip over. This is a little glassine envelope I've had for ages. I think it actually came from Somerset Studio about 1 million years ago. It came in a pack of 10. I've rarely used them because, I mean, I didn't really know what to use them for. It's one of those things that if you put on a card, you just think, oh, whoever gets that's not going to appreciate it. But something like this is a bit fun. And this is just a plain little flower. I tried to find something that would fit that. It's one of those paper flowers that you can dye yourself or stain yourself. But I thought, you know, you don't want to give someone an empty envelope, but that's just something that could be decorated or attached somewhere else, and that's just a bit of fun. Now this is a cluster that I showed last time from the Pigs May Fly paper that from Graphic 45, and these are a couple of those journaling cards from a 6x6 pad from Prima. I think it's called the Almanac collection or something. They're just plain white on the back, and I picked the sort of ones that I think went with the nature kind of theme, and there's one in there. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I've actually used aged patina a lot on the edges. I was just going for a bit of a vibe so that not everything is walnut stain, which I use a lot when I'm not using aged mahogany. And that is my excuse for putting this tag in, because it kind of doesn't really go with the rest of the colour palette. But, you know, I just felt I needed a bit of pop of colour. But having said that, this is the same green and the aged patina is there, and it's got a butterfly. And I just felt like I needed something a bit more colourful. But the pink and the purple, this was actually a tag I'd made in a session using spray inks. So I just thought, oh, I'll pop that in. And I love these square tags. I've had them for a very long time, and I'm talking at least 15 years. I got them all on a craft show, a huge bag of them. I'm just about out of them. And I've looked online and I can't find anything like it. Not in craft suppliers, not on Etsy. It's a buff coloured tag, not a craft tag. I've seen some craft tags, but not this colour. I've seen black, I've seen white, I've seen craft. I haven't seen this buff kind of manila colour. if anyone sees them, please let me know, and I'll let you know what size they are. It's say about 6.5 centimeters square, which would be, for people who use inches, 2.5 inches. So I have used these a lot over the years, and then I took a break for them because I, just stopped using square tags. But I've been using them a lot more recently. I think they're a great size for journals, and I love them. I don't know where I can get more from. If you know where I could get some more of these, please leave a message in the comments, because I want more. And I don't want to have to sit down and cut tags and put buff coloured reinforcers on both sides. As I mentioned, I've got a broken arm. I'm up to 4 months, and I've been told it's going to be at least another 2, possibly longer. Don't ever break your humerus. It is the worst experience ever. And I just want stuff that I can, use. It's little, it's eye-catching. I used to stamp on them and just put them on the front pocket of cards. Love them. But I want more square tags, and I don't know where to get them from in that colour. So that's a plea to the masses. Anyway, over the page, these are from the Your Creative Studio boxes. So is that. And Bree from, and I can't remember the name of her channel, but she did something like that. I'll link to that video. I loved the way she laid it out, and I thought, oh, I can do that thing with mine. So that's just a little shout out to her. And yeah, that's one of my stamps as well. And that one I overlapped. I think it's okay. You could cut it off if you don't like it. Now this is one of my pockets. It's just one of my templates. It was actually a fraction too wide for the page, so I've trimmed it in and folded it. So that's why the circle it's not quite the right shape. So apologies. And this is one of the journal cards that goes with it. And again, I've trimmed it so that it would fit. I've mounted this on cardstock, so it's a bit stronger. And then you just slide it in. This works perfectly, except when you're on camera. Anyway, we'll do that later. Yeah, so flip it over, and then you're at the back, which is also the next front. This time, unlike the other one, I actually put ribbon under when I was layering up the back. That's one of my papers. That's one of my papers, my tags. I love that. That's one of mine. This is a coffee dyed paper I made. It's actually got a self stripe on it. It's like it's textured. It's really lovely. And yeah, so I've got the ribbon there. And this is graphic 45 paper that I really like. Now if I turn over, this was a little cluster I had already made, graphic 45 paper, and that's from Your Creative Studio. And these are 2 of my little tickets. I can actually show you, they come in a strip of 5, and the numbers are sequential, and I've put postage stamps over the top of them, which I think is really fun. So I just actually tore them off and then inked the edges. So it's authentic tears, and they're actually vintage tickets from Globe Theatre in Philadelphia. Don't know what year, but yeah, so that's fun. And I just put 2 of them inside. Now this space here, and I haven't done it yet, I saw a video actually last night, and I think it's Marley, it could be Marley in Europe, and she'd done a Lapbook, and I'm not really familiar with Lapbooks. I saw that people said they use them in school and stuff, or homeschooling. People don't really get homeschooled in Australia, and I've never really come across a Lapbook before. So it wasn't something I'm familiar with, but what she had done was some kind of, and this is not it, but she had joined up paper using washi tape, and then she had accordion folded it and made a little accordion fold notebook, and she'd stuck it in part of her Lapbook. And I actually was thinking of doing something similar here, but I'm going to have to go back and watch the video to see how she did it, because I was just kind of blown away by the whole Lapbook concept. Never heard of it before, didn't know what it was. I went, oh, okay, like lots of different things in a folder. That's cool. Right, now I'm a bit overwhelmed by all this, and then I knew that I had to finish this off today, so I'll go back to that. But I want to put something interactive multi-page here. I could just do a little flip notebook again, but I've got one a bit further on, as you'll see. This was the other journaling card, same as this one, but instead of using it as a journaling card, I've actually folded it down, trimmed off the side, and I have made it a large tuck pocket. And you can also slide things in the top. Now, I haven't got anything in it at the moment, but I thought of maybe using one of my little postcards. Now, this is just on paper at the moment, but I would probably put that on some cardstock, and then you could use that in there amongst other things. But I really love this. This is just a bird, and I've got just some little background on it. And I love these blank postcards. And I do have a couple of my own I'm going to scan in, but these are actually from a collection that I licensed. So that's lovely. And yeah, so I left this one blank, so you could write your own thing there, put a sticker on it or whatever you want to do. Here, and this is where it's different to the one, Natasha style one, because if you see here, wrong way, if you see here, because all of hers are mountain folds, where the folding is, all of them stay in place very nicely. Because of the way Tina did it, and she had, that's a mountain fold, but where this mountain fold is actually reversed. It's the back of it. So when we get, by the time we get to this side, ribbon everywhere, this is a valley fold. So I haven't decided fully yet what I'm going to do. And if anyone has suggestions, please leave a comment. I can leave it like this, and that would leave whoever got this journal could decide to do what they wanted themselves. I can fold it up and have something in here. Could glue it down, and that would kind of be like the ones on the other side, but it's a valley fold version instead. And of course, then you're tucking in here instead of tucking up to the corner that way. It's just the way it worked out. I could have flipped this so that all the folded bits were on the same side. It just seemed to go more naturally this way, and it was the way Tina had done it on hers. So, you know, if I did it again, I might have all of the folded bits on one side, but I just thought I liked the contrast. And then as I was working on it, I thought, oh, okay, I can see why you would fold it, you know, that way. It's to hold this in place. These two stamps are one of the first stamp sets I ever purchased. They were from Hero Arts about 1 million years ago. There's 4 of them. They are beautiful, detailed woodcut flower, vintage flowers, antique flowers, and I got the shadow block with it, and I used that on card fronts for many years. Still pull them out from time to time because they're just such beautiful images. There's also, so that's the sunflower, lily, there's also magnolia and a poppy. So I use those, and then that's the stamp there. I just tore the edge off a bit because I thought with the things folding down and stuff, I wasn't sure, but you know, and also to contrast with the other one. Now over here, on this side, we've got a butterfly, which is from Your Creative Studio. It's a tuck spot. Got another little glassine envelope. This one's empty, but I've put a sticker on the front. And this one's a coloured one. So kind of a peach colour. Yeah, and that's just another offcut. It matches the paper that I've got here, just tying things back a bit. Now this is a little flip pad I made, and it's one of my tags, but I actually ended up cutting the top, so it had a clock as the background, but I ended up cutting off the top of the tag so that it would fit on this bit of paper that I used as the cover. Otherwise it would have been a bit too long, I think. And there was a nice curve to the clock, and I thought that worked. And I've used some encyclopedia paper. I've got some lace, the same as the one brown colour on the front, and then I've got a little flip pad that's got, about 10 pages, I think, or 10 or 12 pages of different coffee dyed papers, some of that textured one again, and sort of some more crafty. It's not exactly craft, I don't think. It is handmade. Oh, I guess it could be handmade craft paper. I don't know how you do that, but so yeah, some variation in there. And then we're back to the beginning, and you would just tie a little bow and everything would stay inside. So that is my alternative accordion fold book, and as I said, I did it on plain cardstock because I just couldn't find papers that worked when they were on the diagonal. But I don't think that's a problem. I think that using the plain cardstock actually allowed me to use a lot more images. And the other one, I stuck to the paper kit that I had from Graphic 45 because so many of the images were on the diagonal. I didn't want to cause a lot of clashing. That was just maybe me being a bit cautious. Now, while I was doing this, and I just want to show this, I had put one of my tags on a bit of encyclopedia paper. That's the clock image I was talking about before as well. And then I realized I'd put it on a bit that said birds. And this encyclopedia is from 1921, so it's definitely out of copyright. And I thought, and I actually mounted it on, I was going to use it as like a top corner. And then I just thought, you know what? I'm actually going to scan this when I work out how the scanner on my new printer works. And I'm going to use that, keep that as like an ephemera thing for myself that I can use in other things, because just having, never going to get another encyclopedia page from that encyclopedia that says birds. I've used it. And the fact that I put a bird tag on top of it, I think it's real, you know, synchronicity or serendipity maybe. And I'm going to keep that as something that special that I'm going to, you know, use again, but I can, you know, manipulate it through Photoshop to get different effects, and I really love that. So I just wanted to show that. And there's another thing that I've worked on, and I want to show it because it's I actually started it before I started this one, and I'm kind of at a impasse, I guess. So because, and I should explain, I can't sew, I mean, I don't have a sewing machine, and I can't manually sew, and I can't do a lot of things because I have a spiral fracture in my main arm. I can't do anything that requires me putting pressure on my arm. I can't even use a fork to eat with, because when I stab a fork into things, it causes pressure on the bone, and that is not good. So when I was looking at how I can bind or put together junk journals and things now, I watch a lot of videos, and this kind of thing with glue is good. And another one I came up with was ring binding. So I've got the things here, and most of the ones have two, but I find 2 rings is really annoying because it doesn't stay straight. It kind of skews. That's just my experience in the workplace. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do that. And I started with an envelope. And you might remember my envelope folio that I showed in a previous video. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll do this, and I'll make sure I can put it in. Anyway, so I've made this envelope. It's supposed to be going in my ring bound thing. And like, first of all, I ended up assembling it backwards. And then I haven't got a spot to put holes. So I think I'm going to have to use it for something else. And I did watch a video with, I want to say Camelia Crafts, but she had Julie from Camelia Crafts, I think. She had put an extra bit of paper and put holes in, but the problem with this design is I don't know which bit of paper I put it on. Maybe this side, but I don't think it would fit. So I'll show you this. This is, in an ideal world, this would go in something like this. And it may just go in as a floating pocket somewhere. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I love it. And I was like, I spent hours on this because I was trying to get all the folder and everything. Anyway, so this is a beautiful, and this is using the Graphic 45 Princess set, which I love, plus extra stuff. That's butterflies from Kaiser Craft. But you know, it's plain on the back. That's a postcard from the Princess set, from their journaling set. And then if you flip this, it's an envelope, and it's a mulberry paper envelope. This is actually something different. I found it in a drawer when I moved recently, like a few months ago, and it's a whole pack of identical things. I don't know if I got them at a craft show or something, or maybe my mum got it at a craft show and gave it to me. She does that sometimes. She finds beautiful things and gives them to me, and then I don't know what to do with them. But I have no recollection of ever seeing this before. So maybe I did buy it. I don't know. It's from a Sydney company, so it's local, which is why I think it could have, like, I just have no, anyway, I thought that was lovely, and it could go in here. And then that flips out there like that. And I didn't make that tuck spot. It was just kind of a corner. This here, and I don't know if I've got a tag that can do it, but that's actually a frame that you can slide something into. And I think at one point I had a tag that I was using to demonstrate that, but I don't know where it's gone. And I wanted to put something else there, but I don't know what, because I think at that point I was like, is that where I attach holes? It all got very confusing. And this is obviously dress pattern that I've used as backing paper. So that's that. And that opens this way. That is another of the journaling cards. That's an envelope. So this here, and originally I was just covering all this with paper because it's just a buff envelope. And unlike last time, this was not a coffee stain one. I've just been inking it up as I go. And then I got here and went, oh, that looks like tuck spots. Oh, it's not tuck spots. So I have to put something over this to make it usable. But the reason I did it this way is because I cut along the side, and the idea was originally you'd put holes there, but then you can put journal cards or something in the top. And maybe I can still do that if I trim off the top a bit. I mean, I don't know. It's very long for that kind of thing, isn't it? Anyway, I added that on. That was like an offcut from another bit of paper, but I just thought that looked really nice there. It's almost like a tab. And that's from Australian company, Meg's Garden, which I really like that. Anyway, then we get to the back, and then, you know, I've used, that's a different paper set. I can't remember what that one is, but that I used some of that and that just to tie it back in. I love this paper. It's beautiful. This was actually supposed to be on the front, but I set it all up backwards. I'm blaming the fact that I'm left-handed. I watch people do this and I go, oh yeah, I'll do it. And then I do it with my lead hand, which of course is barely functional at the moment. And then I realized that I've done it in reverse because I did it a few times with the other journals as well. I'm like, oh, I'll do this. And then I go, it's backwards. Anyway, then this has like a flip pad with, you know, coffee dyed papers. Anyway, so this is something, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. If anyone has suggestions, let me know. It is open at the top. I sealed the, this time I sealed the side opening because I was always intending to put things in the top so that it could be ring bound. That was part of the whole thing. But it just, I think I didn't fold it enough. Maybe I did, to put the holes in there. I don't know. It may just have to go in a drawer until I think of what to do with it, and then I can restart my ring bound project. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. Something beautiful that's almost finished. I've just got to do a little paper thing here, whether it's a flip pad or a accordion pad, we'll see, and probably back this postcard so I can use that as well. And this mysterious folio-ish folding disaster. But it's so beautiful, and I've used some of my favorite papers and envelopes and things, so I just need to know how to mount it, or just find a project and just tuck the whole thing into a belly band or something. I don't know. That was supposed to be the front. Oh, wow. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Like, comment, subscribe. I have another video out soon with my Banksia and Butterflies papers and all the other things that are with that. And look forward to catching up with you again soon. Bye.